Hi everyone, I'm Eduardo Costa, the creator of My Practice Canvas. Today I'm going to show you something that is going to completely change the way you think about music practice and teaching. Whether you're a student trying to nail that tricky passage or a teacher struggling to give feedback to all your students, My Practice Canvas solves problems you didn't even know you had. My Practice Canvas is for independent students who want to study on their own and also for music teachers who want to provide personalized feedback to all your students. For independent students, it's going to elevate your playing by practicing side by side with the world's greatest musicians. How? You're going to import inspiring YouTube performances, slow down tricky passages, and set up precision focus loops that enhance your technique and musical expression. Control your progress with powerful tools designed to keep you motivated and consistent anytime, anywhere. For music teachers, you are going to revolutionize your teaching with personalized picture-in-picture video feedback placed exactly where students need it most, directly on their score. Annotate music, assign interactive practice loops, and reuse your best teaching materials effortlessly. Manage unlimited students, track their progress, and provide powerful, asynchronous lessons without scheduling conflicts. Give your students clarity, confidence, and the tools to master their instruments. Let me give you a demonstration. If you are an independent student, you will select the PDF. I'm going to upload a new PDF here. This one. It's going to upload and immediately open that PDF with our powerful tools. You're going to see that you can add text to the score. You can control the size of the text using the wheel of your mouse. It's that simple. You can unselect text here and move it around any place you want on the score. You can control the font size and everything else that I'm not going to waste your time with. You can tell your student to practice up to these points here, for example, by placing a red bracket. Again, you can adjust the size just by using the wheel on the mouse. You can also draw on the score by clicking and dragging like this. You can add fingerings for your instruments. Right now I have it set for classical guitar, but for example, you can just hold the mouse, press down, slide to the fingering that you want, and then that fingering is going to appear on the score. You made a mistake on the fingering? No problem. Right click on it and it's gone. For example, if I wanted to put a finger 1 over here, I could do this. Right? If you want to increase the size of the fingering, no problem. Just go on top of it. Use the wheel of the mouse and that fingering is going to be larger. Not only that fingering, but all the other fingerings that you end up adding. And you see how easily and fast I can add fingerings here. I can add the string numbers, I can add the right hands, the left hands, I can add bars, I can add a hinge bar, you name it. If it's too large, I can just make them all smaller by hovering over one of them and using the wheel of the mouse. I can also select a portion of the score to make the students focus more on that specific session. If I don't like that, I can just right click and it's gone. It's fast. I designed it to be very, very fast. If I'm struggling with a specific session in the piece, I can use a YouTube video performance of that piece to help me get there. How does that work? You click here at YouTube practice loop. Then you click at the session where you want your loop to start. So I'm going to put it over here. You paste the YouTube link on top, which, by the way, after doing this before, it's going to automatically save here for you as recent videos. And so you don't need to keep adding that video there all the time for the other loops that you make on the piece. And then you're going to, if this is optional, you can type in the measure that you want it to go into. For example, I'm starting on measure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm starting on measure 9. So measure 9, 10, 11, 12, until measure 12. So I'm going to put here 12. This is optional, right? If you want it to look neat. And then you're going to select here where it starts. By the way, you can adjust the speed of the video so you can listen better for where these passages would begin and end. I already put here at a standard at 70% of the speed so you can easily listen to where the passages begin and end. But you can adjust the slider as you wish, you know. I like to have it at 70% of speed. So it's after that. Let's move forward. Here's the beginning. And the ending, let's see. It's a little bit for that. So I'm going to use this find tool over here to find. It's a little easier when using that tool. Okay, so it's before the bass over here. There is a bass over here, this D on the bass, right? So I'm going to move it a little bit before that. There we go. Then save the annotation. And you're going to see these green dots up to measure 12, it says, right? So when you click at it, you're going to be able to just play that specific passage and loop it over and over and over again while playing together, and try to get every single phrasing that you can, right? And in between the loops, there is seconds that you can have, so it doesn't keep repeating in a way that doesn't make musical sense. So I left here a delay of 3 seconds, but you can adjust that to 2 seconds or 1, right? Press play. It's gonna keep looping with 2 seconds delay now instead of 3. Gets to the end of the video, you're gonna see, and then you start playing again. You can adjust the speed. I'm gonna slow it down, and then try and play together exactly. Exactly together, so you use that phrasing and accuracy of the notes, right? See? Right? And through time, you can increase the speeds, or you turn on the automatic speeds. You turn this feature on, and then you can choose the number of repetitions per 1% increase in tempo. So I'm going to choose here, I want 1 repetition per increase in percentage point. It automatically tells me here that it takes me 5 minutes to get to 70% of speed, 16 minutes until I get to 100% of speed in that setting. If I use a 2 here, it's going to tell me 33 and so forth, right? So everything is automatically calculated. So pay attention to this 57% over here. When I press play and it repeats again, it's going to automatically go to 58. Check it out. 58 now. See? So every repetition, I'm a little bit faster without even noticing. After the end of this passage, it's going to be 59 automatically, while I am actually performing and playing together. Check it out. It's going to be 59. 59. Okay? Until it gets to 100%. And then it stops. Okay? You can also adjust the volume. And if you like, you can make this larger as well by maximizing that and just using that tool. Restore over here. All right? Just gonna cause the video to repeat again. And This is how you use a reference performance on YouTube to get really, really good. No matter how great your oral feedback is, nothing compares with you taking action together with a person that is at a higher level than you. And this works for all instruments. I'm giving you here the example of classical guitar, but this works for piano, flutes, you name it, all the instruments. By the way, the fingering that I mentioned before can also be set over here. So if I go on settings, I can choose the instruments that I want to use for fingerings. You can use double bass, electric guitar, piano, trumpets, ukulele, viola, violin. For example, if I wanted to write it in piano, right? So I choose piano over here. I go back, and when you go back to fingerings and you click it anywhere on the piece, it's going to show me the options that are relevant to piano players. You have 5 fingers on the right hands and 5 fingers on the left. The red numbers are left hands, the blue numbers are right hands. You have pedal, and you have other items as well, right? So very, very easy to use. If you need to add a specific note that was missing on the score, just as a quick draft of something that was a mistake from the editor or something like that, you can click here a musical notation, and then you can click anywhere on the staff here, and then you can choose the musical symbols. Not only notes, but you can choose mezzo piano, mezzo forte, repeats bar, treble clef, bass clef, you name it, right? So I'm gonna add here these notes here. I'm gonna make it larger just by scrolling the wheel of the mouse. I'm gonna move it around by dragging it, right? And I put the notes in there. I don't like it, no problem. Right click on it and it's gone, right? I designed this to be as easy as possible for you to use. You don't have to type in fingerings. Fingerings are already built in a way that you just click with the mouse, slide, and then let it go. It's going to appear exactly where you first pointed it. For example, if I want to add a fingering here, you see where I'm pointing? On top of the 2 there. Check it out. Even if I slide all the way out over here, it's the number 4 appears right where I first clicked it. So the fingerings are always in the right place. And I calculated the font size and elements of the text to really make that stand out. Let me go back to guitar here. All right. By the way, you can change your language too. Right. We are supporting 10 languages here for you to choose from. All of the app features are translated in all these languages. You can select the default text style. If you don't like the right-click feature that deletes the annotation, you can just check this box and it will ask you a confirmation if you want to delete the item or not, right? So I also added that option there for you. And this we are going to be looking later because this is going to be for teachers, okay? We are just looking at the students, independent student side, all right? So with an independent student membership, you have access to these features, okay? These are the features you have access. Besides that, I'm not gonna waste your time because we also have access to a metronome and a guitar tuner as well. You can print the PDF, and by the way, when you print, it's not going to appear these dots over here. It's only gonna appear the fingerings and all the annotations that are not necessarily video annotations, obviously, to not clutter the printing, right? So you can also print, and this is what you can do if you are an independent student, okay? You can practice and fill in your score with lots and lots of videos. There is another button here. This is just for reference. This doesn't create a loop, but if you want to add a red dot for a specific YouTube video performance, you just click on this button here, and I'm gonna click it over here, paste the YouTube video, press OK, And this is a reference performance that I can listen to it entirely without it being looped, just to have me there as an inspiration, right? And this is a way that I can have several reference performances, and I can use these reference performances in different places on the piece. For example, I might like Eduardo Costa playing this specific session on the piece, but I might like John Rivers, I don't know, making it up a name, playing this passage over here. So you can create loops from different people, right? If you're a teacher, you'll also be able to do this and more. You're going to be able to do this with yourself as well, just playing yourself that specific passage with the phrasing that you want the student to get, that you think is actually at the student's level, because sometimes the YouTube videos are not going to be at the level that the student needs to learn. So as a teacher, you will have the option to also create your own loops, which we're going to discuss soon. Besides that, as an independent student, you have access to your practice log. A practice log is where you can log all your practice and make sure that you have that internal accountability for your goals. You can set up a goal, right? For example, I can press go here, and I'll put it here 20 minutes. 20 minutes is my goal, 20 minutes per day. How many days per week I want to practice? 6 days per week. Okay, press OK. All right, and then we are going, there we go. Now the daily goal here got updated to 20 minutes automatically, and you can start counting your time by pressing start over here. Okay. Press start, the stopwatch starts, and it's already tracking your time. So you're practicing, and at the same time that you're tracking your time, at the same time you're practicing, look at where the stopwatch is gonna go when I click at a video here. If I click to loop this video, the stopwatch is gonna continue here on the left side of the page. See on the top there, which you can also pause there, by the way. There is a button to pause if you want. All right, if you close this, it's gonna appear here back again. So you're always in touch with how much time you have practiced, right? And today's progress bar keeps being updated as the practice time keeps going forward, as you can see over here, right? Besides that, you have also streaks, right? So if you want to keep yourself accountable to practice every day, this number is going to help you, because if you've been practicing for 30 days straight, you're going to see here 30-day streak, and you will not want to lose that. I guarantee you. You will not want to that streak to come back to zero, right? So this is going to help you a lot. When you press pause here, the time passes by. If you need to reload the page for some reason, it's going to automatically come back to this value over here, right? And it's also going to automatically populate the graph over here that you have for your daily practice throughout the week. It's going to tell you how much time you practice during the last 7 days, right? Besides that, if you want to add a practice notes, you had a breakthrough today, so you want to write it down so you can remember later, you just click practice notes, wait for it to appear, and you said, today I had a breakthrough. Is able to use more vibrato. Okay, you can save that, where later on you can always see your practice notes when you click at the yearly overview. When you click at the yearly overview, it's going to show you a calendar of all your practice throughout the entire year. Okay, so right now in this demonstration, the total practice time was 1 minute. We practiced 2 days, just a demonstration. And When you just rover over the dates, it's going to show you the practice notes as well. Right? For example, it says there, today I had a breakthrough. I was able to use more vibrato. How cool is that? And you're going to be able to see all your practice notes, the things that you wanted to practice, your breakthroughs, your points of challenge that you can later on have the teacher see. Because let me tell you something, if you're associated with a teacher, your teacher will also be able to see your practice notes, the amount of time that you practice, and also give you some constructive feedback on how to address those issues as well. We're going to talk about those in the teacher session. But as an independent student, you do have access to log your practice sessions as well. All right? So this is all you can do with your independent students subscription. By the way, you can always change your subscription by hovering over your profile picture over here. And if you don't have a profile picture, you just hover over there, click Edit Profile, upload your photo, change your name, all right? Change your password, and it's going to update that for you. When you hover over that, you can also manage your membership and change the membership. For example, you want to have access to you want to become a teacher, right? Besides having lessons with another teacher, you also want to become a teacher to different students. You can do that. You can have you can be a student from somebody and also teach somebody else using this system. This way you can manage membership and change the plan accordingly. You can sign out over here as well. All right. If you have questions or send feedback, you can always click at this button here and I'll be able to personally answer your questions. Although I ask you to please be mindful because there are many people who are going to be using that. So just ask the questions that you really need answered or the ones that were not previously discussed through this demonstration. Besides that, you can also change the name of the piece by just clicking here at the name of the piece. And I'm putting here demo 3, okay? Press enter. It automatically changes the title of that document for you. Okay, so I designed this to be as easy as possible for you to practice and stay focused, because that's what's going to really make you get better at your instruments. Now, if you are a teacher, you're going to absolutely love this tool because it's going to revolutionize the way you teach. I've been using a prototype version of this system for many years and my students absolutely love it. It has changed the way I teach. I don't meet with students anymore. I don't set up a time to meet. I set up a day that they can send me the videos. I'm gonna show you what I mean. So if you're a teacher, you want to go here to Manage Students. And in this case here, I already added a student over here, okay? If you click Add New Students, it will appear for you an option for you to add their email, their names, and choose their preferred language. This is the language they're gonna see the app when they visited for the first time through your link. You can put in English, Portuguese, Spanish, French, 10 languages here for you to choose from. More importantly, you can use this as a teacher in 2 distinct ways. You can use this in all-in-one teaching platform, which is the way I use. I've been using a prototype version of this system for many years with my students. They absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. It gives me so much more freedom. And I wanted to explain exactly how it would work, right? So if I use the all-in-one teaching platform, the student would receive a submission agreement that says they are going to be submitting a weekly video of their assigned work. So you tell the students, I want you to practice this specific scale. And the student's gonna go practice and record a video for you using the app, okay? There's an option there for the students to send a video to you, the teacher. Then the teacher can either provide the feedback on the same day as the submission or by the following day, right? So you have a lot of flexibility as a teacher and as a student as well, right? Because you don't need to send the video at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You can send it any time during the day, all right? So the students has flexibility. You as the teacher also have a lot of flexibility as well, and you don't need to if you have a medical appointment at 2 p.m., you can give the students a feedback at 5 p.m. or whatever time you work. If you're a late night person, you can provide the feedback at 2 a.m. in the morning, right? This will work for every schedule, right? Because you don't need to meet, right? Even though you don't need to meet, you have a personal relationship because you share about your day with the students shares about their days, about what they're doing, and you have a friendship type of relationship. It's just not in real time, because real time is complicated. Real time is stressful for the teacher and for the students primarily. Why? Because the student gets that anxiety. Oh, I gotta do this right now at 2 p.m. Oh, I'm not feeling very well. I didn't eat well, but I have my lesson scheduled right now. I can't move my lesson because I already told the teacher I would meet him at 2. So this way, the student has flexibility. They can send the video anytime during the day or nights. They choose. And you, the teacher, also choose to either respond on the same day, if they send early in the morning, if you want to, or on the following day. Right? Mostly answer on the following day. Right? The student would also receive the agreement that says no reminders for missed submissions. So if a student misses the assignment submission day, no reminders will be sent. However, there is an option here on the bottom that the students will receive automatic reminders on submission dates. If you select here, you're going to be an email that is going to be sent automatically to the student, reminding them at midnight, like at 12 a.m. of their time zone, that they have a video submission due on that specific date, right? Just to be extra safe. If you want to disable that, you can disable that as well, right? So, but the student will not receive a reminder for the missed submission. So if after that initial reminder, the student doesn't give you the video, doesn't send you the video, it's not going to receive another reminder. 5, late submissions are not guaranteed, right? So this is what I tell my students. Students may submit a video the day after the assigned deadline, but the teacher may already have created and sent a supplemental lesson by then. In such cases, the teacher will not review the late submission. Videos submitted after 1 p.m. on the teacher's time zone on the following day, right? So after the deadline on the following day, will not be accepted under any circumstances, right? So it's very important because this is good for the teacher and the students as well, because it creates accountability. If you want to get better at something, you gotta be consistent about it. You gotta have a deadline. Deadline creates action, right? So the teachers would have the opportunity to see their videos of the students after 1 p.m. on the following day, if they want, right? Until 1 p.m. on the following day. Optional. The teacher also could send before 1 p.m. if the teacher has other commitments in the afternoon. The teacher could also already send a supplemental lesson, a lesson that would supplement the students' learning for that specific week, right? Without the students sending them the video feedback, right? So the teacher has that option as well if the student is late on their submission, right? Why is that? Because we are already giving a lot of flexibility for the students as well. They can choose any time during the specific day. And if they have more flexibility needs, they can talk directly to the teacher and get agreements on that as well, right? This is the way I do things and the way that it works for me. So you can choose, as you're adding the new students, you can choose the submission days. For example, I'm going to say Tuesdays. right? If the students decide to work on more than one piece of music with you, I I create another submission day for the other piece, and they are charged by the batch of lessons corresponding to each one of the submissions days for the month, right? So it's another time slots that the student would have with you if they add other pieces, or they want to study other types of subjects in music, for example, improvisation or music theory, music history, counterpoints, you name it, right? So these different disciplines are not in the same class because it does take time for the teacher to prepare them. So that's why the teacher should charge for the other types of courses and other days that the students submit videos. By the way, if the student is learning about music theory, the assignments of the students can be sent by email, and also the questions can be sent by video. Right? The students might say, I was doing this, I have a question about that. What if, I replace this chord here for the dominance of the dominants instead of only the dominants, and things like that. They can ask questions for the teacher, and you guys have a personal relationship. As I said, I share things about my life with my students. They are literally my friends, even though we don't meet in real time. That is the future, because nobody likes the stress of having an appointment set when you can't change it, or when it's a hassle to change it. Also, in the lessons, when you meet in person or via Skype, there is lots and lots of wasted time on, let me think a little bit about this passage here. The teacher might say, let me think about what I would do in this fingering here, how I would finger this passage of music. That time, the student doesn't need to see. The student needs the instruction. So the teacher spends that time. And when the teacher spends the time, and when he's ready to give you the feedback that he thought for a long time, he will record the video feedback for you. And that's going to be to the point where the students can review and see it again and again, every time, every day. So nothing gets lost. In a Skype lesson, after you say goodbye, the students might not even remember what you guys talked in that was the most important thing of the lesson. With the feedback that you're going to provide by recording videos on specific passages, points in the PDF, in the piece, those yellow dots are going to be their goals, right? The things that they have to focus on for the next time. Anyways, we're going to get to that. So this is the all-in-one teaching platform that I'm talking about. This is one way of using this system. Besides that, if you are a teacher that you rather keep meeting with the students either in person or on Skype, and you want to use this system as a way of having an additional feedback for the students after the lesson. So, for example, during the lesson, you're there showing the students, this is how you play C major 7/9 chord, right? And you play the chord. You write it down, and then you say, this is the exercise you're going to do. You're going to play this, you take it away, wait like 2 seconds and put it back again and again. You can use this system to create a loop of you doing that, right? Doing this, now going to the next chord of the sequence, and then stop the loop. And that video would be looped where the students can play together with you the structure and slow it down and make things easier to learn, right? So this is a different way of using the system, which is you keep meeting with the students, either in person or Skype, but you use the system to create those loops and provide specific feedback and fingerings, typing the fingerings on the score, send them the links to the lessons where they can print. So this is another way you can use that. That would be the supplemental instruction mode, right? So as it says here, students meet you elsewhere. No submission agreements are shown since this additional practice supports. Students will not be able to submit videos in these modes. Right? So in these modes, the students are not sending you videos. You're just using this to send them material. Right? So I added the example here of John Doe. All right. Right now he's active. I can deactivate his status, right? So if he's no longer my student, I go over here and I deactivate him by clicking at this button. This doesn't delete his work, but this cuts his access to the materials that you provided him, right? You can, if he's permanently no longer your student, you can delete the student over here. If you need to send the students a payment reminder for another batch, you click in this button. It's going to send the student an automated friendly reminder for the new batch payments. You know, with my instruction at the moment, I'm charging for every 4 weeks. So every 4 weeks, I send a reminder for the students to send me the next batch, and I use this button to do that. If the student doesn't know where his invitation is, you can just resend the invitation here by clicking at this button. And you can have unlimited students as long as you invite them to be your students. They can't just log into the app or sign up without a subscription if they are not your students. So if you're a teacher, you can invite as many students as you want. And they will be able to have reading access only to the material. They are not going to be able to edit the things that you write, unless they also get a membership in the meantime. They can also get an independent student membership, which they can add other fingerings there for you, the instructor, to see, right? That can be beneficial for you, the teacher. Or if the student wants to work on other pieces with a YouTube video reference, he can also do that, but he's not going to have the instruction. He's going to have just the performance, and he can slow down the sessions and create loops from specific sessions as an independent student, right? So he can have all of that in addition to your personal guidance and feedback, right? But the students you invite that don't have the membership, they will have read access only, right? The way you assign a lesson to students is very simple. You just go over here, assign new PDF. Right? You can either upload a new PDF, or you can assign the ones that you already created. For example, if you created one that already has videos and you is explaining with the fingerings that you want to use, you can reuse that for these new students. For example, here I have Capricho Árabe demonstration 3. Right? So if I press the plus sign here, I'm going to assign. And when I assign this PDF to these students, I can choose to copy my current annotations, or to start with a blank copy, or even copy from another student's work on this same PDF. Right? So it's going to load all my students and see which students has also this PDF, and it's going to copy from the other students. So you can have the start of your work be easier by getting a lesson that you prepared and you spent time beforehand, if you want to, or you can start with a blank copy, right? In my lesson, I start always with a blank copy because depending on the students, if the students, I would say that if they require different fingering than the other students, I would start with a blank copy. If they are a little bit on the same level, would start on the same with the current annotation. So you have the option there to choose from, right? So in this case, I'm going to copy my current annotations. I don't know if I did any annotations there, but I'm going to confirm. So it's assigning. And when it assigns the lesson to the students, it's going to prepare there for you. You're going to see the lesson. You see, it already copies all my other annotations that I had previously, right? That I set with you guys here, right? But now look at this, Capricho Árabe demonstration for John Doe. All right, so you're working on that lesson for that specific students. All right, so as a teacher, what can you do? You can use all the features of independent students that I mentioned before in this video. Please watch those features because they are very, very important. They are these features here. I'm not gonna talk again, you know. You can draw, you can do so much stuff, add fingerings and all this stuff very easily, you know. Musical notations, you can do that, move around. You can do all of that, create YouTube practice loops, you know, get a video reference on YouTube and get just a small portion of performance that the student loves and wants to get closer to that specific phrasing. You can also record your own practice loop. So I had to turn off my camera in order to demonstrate the features here. If you want to create a loop of you performing a specific session of the piece so the student can learn and play that together with you, you can do this by clicking here, record practice loop, and then you click where you want the loop to begin. So I'm gonna click it over there. Oh, I made a mistake, no problem. By the way, look at this. Audio is clipping. Please reduce volume or speak more quietly. This is happening because I'm speaking loudly over here, right? So what I can do is, I don't know if it's gonna interfere with the recording software that I'm using to record the screen, but we'll try. We're gonna calibrate here. So I press this button here, calibrates, and then I speak normally. And after speaking normally for a little bit of time, you can speak even a little louder, you know. It will automatically reduce the volume for you. And you can manually adjust even more over here if you want, right? So this way, I'm not using compression in my audio because most of these recording softwares, they compress all your dynamics as a teacher, you know? So your pianos become fortes, your fortes become pianos, and it's a mess. So the best thing to do is to record the audio as purely as possible. And this is what I did when I designed the algorithm here, right? So we're going to try do it again. So we're gonna press cancel, all right? I'm gonna practice a little bit this so I can get it. All right, so one more time. All right, after I press upload, it's going to upload, and I can actually say here up to what bar this is, optionally, you know. So I would say this is up to bar number 3, okay? Okay, so now it's gonna be written here, up to 3. Video is uploading here. You can record many videos one after the other. You don't need to wait for all of them to upload. There is an upload queue that will automatically upload all your videos one by one in a batch, right? And then if I just press play here, you're going to see my video there. I can choose the speed, right? And it's gonna be looping. So you can send this to your students. You can send this to your students and they're gonna be able to use the looper as they are able to use the looper for YouTube video references as well. Right? You can turn on the auto speed feature or turn it off, change all the controls here, which I already talked about. They can make it larger so they can see larger. You see their practice timer always stay visible. Right? You can restore that and you can close it. So it's very, very convenient. Besides recording video loops, the teachers can also record instruction pointers. So they would do this by clicking here at record video, and then they would start by clicking, I always start over here, and I start talking something about my day or just saying hi. For example, I'll demonstrate here, right? I say, hello, how's it going? I hope your day was great. By the way, you can adjust the volume here again if it starts to clip, right? I hope you had a great week, you know, and and my day was like this, and today I did this, and tomorrow I'm gonna do that. How cool that you did this last week, when you told me blah blah. Right? So it creates a connection with the students because they are your friends. They are there having you as a mentor to go together on their journey, which is very special, right? And so I like to make this as personable as I can, right? Uh, Sometimes more, sometimes less, some days more, some days less, but you have to have some degree of humanity in this technological world, right? So that's your opportunity with that first dot over there. This is what I do. If you press uploads, it's going to start uploading. And when it's uploading, you don't need to wait. You can record another video. You can say, for example, here. In this passage over here, I think it's best to use the wrist a little bit forward like this, right? So have the wrist forward so you can reach the higher portions of the guitar. When you go over here, the wrist goes in. The wrist is in all the way through after that. So it starts with the wrist high, go wrist in. Adds a vibrato on the last notes, which is also good. Uploads, right? It's gonna upload that video as well, right? While it's uploading, you can record another one. You can say, by the way, this dotted line is over here because I attempted to do a dot with my webcam on, and while recording this screen here for you as the tutorial, and it didn't, of course, the camera can only be captured in one device at a time. So, anyways. So, but is not there. Generally, it's not going to be there. For example, you can say, let me see here. This passage is an opportunity for us to be very lyrical, right? So, you gotta follow the rhythm, but at the same time have some degree of flexibility, right? See, this is not exactly as it's written. It's more that makes it a better phrasing. Let's work on that. All right, uploads it over there. And if I'm not satisfied with that and I say, I think the student needs just a video loop for that, I can tell the student and say, create another dots here. I'm actually going to create for you a green dots loop just for the melody portion here, so you can get the phrasing the way that I want you to get, right? So it's important that you practice with that practice loop over there. And I would say spend 15% of your time just on that session. Right? This way, you have specific instruction pointers that the students have as a goal to achieve. Right? So you go here, record practice loop, and I can create here the loop. I wasn't very happy with it, so I'm going to cancel. I'm going to do it one more time. Upload. Right, up to bar. In this case, I'm not going to press any bar. I'm just going to press OK. This is for a small session. All right, so after it uploads, I'm going to click. Yeah, the student is going to click on it, right? And they can practice together with you, the teacher, right? Choose the speed here. I'm going to slow it down, right? All right, the student can do that. He can and set up all the counters and things like that. And right, so you can copy what the teacher is doing, right? Very, very useful tool. So the way I teach, I provide the feedback on what are the next steps for the next time we meet, which is the next week, right? So I, as the yellow dots, and expect the student to every day listen to the yellow dots, click on it,
In this passage over
and
here,
say, and say, oh yes, this is what the instruction, and notice what the instruction wants them to see, right? To work on. And they practice that. So they can always review this. They can click at any time. By the way, look at this, how it gets selected. The dots that I click get selected. So the students always know exactly where the teacher is talking about. In this passage, besides that, if the student wants to see the passage a little bit slower in your instruction itself, you can adjust the speed just by using the up and down arrow here. You can over here. You can, if I put the arrow down, the wrist a little bit forward. I'm reducing the speed just with my keyboard arrow. Right. I'm increasing the speed. So you can reach the higher portions of the guitar. It's going to be very useful for when the student submits a video and you want to see in slow motion what the student is doing, right? Which we're going to be discussing later. Because this is the button that here that you click to play your student's submitted video. It would appear at this side over here. Right now, there is no submitted video because it's the first time I'm sending the lesson to the students, right? So that's why it says video not found. So I'm gonna close this, and after I provide, before that, I also have here on my right side, the student practice dashboard, telling me how much practice they did today, this week, how many days they practice, the average amounts per day, the graph showing me exactly how much time they practice. Not only that, the yearly overview I can also see for the students, you know, like I showed before. And their practice notes, you know, would appear over here, the recent practice notes. So as a teacher, I can see the practice notes and say, oh, they struggled there. Oh, they had facility over here. Oh, they thought it was too easy. Okay, so, you know, so this gives me more feedback as well. And it's captured at the moments that matters, which is the moments that the student was either struggling to get it done or had a breakthrough, which is also you want to participate in, right? Students' breakthrough make my day, and I'm sure they make yours as well. So they show the last 7 days of practice, how much time they practice, and things like that, right? So you can see that. Only you and the students can see that information, okay? Very important. I take privacy very seriously. So after preparing the lesson, you can go ahead then and send the lesson link to the students. If you don't press send on this button, the student won't receive the lesson because I designed this in a way that you can take all the time that you need in order to make the lesson for the students, and the student would only see that when you press the send link to the student. Right? Of course, if the student already has the link beforehand from a previous lesson, the link doesn't change, so they would see what you're doing. But the first time that you're creating the lesson is something that you can do it. You can do it at your own time, and then press send lesson link to student. So if I press over here, it's going to show me the ampersand and the send button, right? So I already sent it. When I go back here, manage students, I can see that the lesson Capricho Árabe Demonstration 3 was also sent because it's green. If I hadn't pressed that button, it would be red. It's not sent, right? So this also shows me if I actually sent the lesson to the students. So now we are looking from the student's perspective, okay? When the student logs in, he's going to be taken to this page here, My Lessons. He's going to see your name, teacher. Right now I put LK, you know, column LK, just any name to do a test. The dates that it was assigned, the lesson was assigned, and the student can open that lesson. So the lessons are organized over here. Okay, so open lesson. And the students will be able to open the lesson, and they're going to be able to have read-only access unless they have a membership as well. They're not going to be able to change what it did for their lesson. And they're going to, very importantly, if you set up their system as all-in-one system, they're gonna be able to record a video for you, right? For the teacher. So they have their submission dates, and this is the video the student would this is the button the student would click in order to record a video for you, the teacher. So it's that simple. They open the page, they click over here on this button, right? And it starts recording already. So the student is recording and saying, "Hi teacher, I hope you're doing great. This week I did this, I did that, it was fun, we spent time with the grandkids and did that, and and talk, normally." And then they would also say, "All right, so I worked on what you did, here's my attempts, I'm gonna start with a measure, blah, 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 and then this is what I was working on. I found it difficult to move from the wrist over here to there, I had to think also about my arm as I was doing this, and so I had to do this for a long time, but I think I got it," and show, and then, and imagine like the student is showing, right? And then they send it to you. All right, so the student is, after they are done, they have a maximum of 15 minutes to send the lesson. No longer than that, because 15 minutes is more than enough for the teacher to know, for the student to present what they've accomplished during that week. Most of my lessons are actually very short, are like 3 minutes, 2 minutes, sometimes 5 minutes, sometimes a little longer, sometimes 8 minutes. Depends on what the students were working on, how easy, how hard it was for them, and things like that, right? So it's gonna vary, but maximum recording time is 15 minutes. When they press upload, it's going to prepare the uploads. It's going to upload the video, so the student is seeing that the video is being uploaded like this, like you guys are seeing. And it's going to also notify the teacher by email saying that the student sends them the video automatically, and it's going to show that message that was sent successfully. All right? So I'm going to show you now how it would look like from the teacher's perspective. So from the teacher's perspective, after they click at the link at their email, it's going to take them to the lesson itself. All right? So this is the teacher's perspective. And they're going to see this button here in green, which says play student's submitted video. So when the teachers press that button, the student's video is going to appear right here. Right? It starts recording already. So they can make it larger, full screen. Right? They can make it faster, slower by using the keyboard arrows. Right? Look at that 1.x there. Is how it's going to change. 1.2, 1.3. Right? So this is 1.5 speed. So if they wanted to see something that is a little shorter, a little that specific session that the student was showing, but in slow motion, working on, so they can analyze exactly the micro movement that the student is doing on that specific session. They would be able to do that by adjusting the speed. That's why I have that feature over there. Besides that, the teacher can also share their screen. For example, record screen plus self. I'm going to click over here, anywhere on the PDF. And then I'm going to select here screen 1, allow, right? So now I'm recording this lesson for the students by sharing my screen. Notice here that on the right side that I'm seeing what is being recorded. I'm seeing that the PDF is being recorded, right? Over here, and I can point things out for the students while I appear on the right side. Right, if I want to. For example, it's a music theory lesson, I would do that, or improvisation sometimes. I can switch the layout. Sometimes I say, for example, look at right here where I'm moving my mouse. You need to work on these notes. Let me show you what I mean. And if you click at switch layouts, you now become large as the teacher and the screen becomes small. And you can adjust, on the camera exactly where you want it to go. If you want, you can hide the screen. Right, so it goes away. You can show it back, switch layouts again, hides the camera, show it back, and more. This is what you're gonna love. If you press the play students video, submit a video here, look at what's gonna happen. It's going to appear large on the screen here for the students. Look at this. Okay. So now look at that. Even though I'm seeing it's a little smaller over here, which I can correct and see larger if I wanted, just by double clicking at it. The student is seeing himself large here while you're pointing out a few things that they need to work on. All right. As usual, you can hide the camera just to show and talk what the student needs to do, right, if it's on top of that. Right. You can slow down with slow motion here. The student is seeing his own micro movements here while you're shifting, while you're doing things. All right. And it's very, very helpful for the students to have not only your feedback, but your feedback of watching him or her doing the activity that you're asking them to do. You can't do this in person. You can't do this on Skype. The student's seeing himself or herself, accompanied by your comments. It's priceless. This is like the new revolutionary way of teaching, which I believe is the way of the future. I am very, very proud of this feature. Worked really hard on that. And this way you can also see the score while the student is playing here, even though the student is seeing himself live, large here. You see, I'm seeing the score here, but the output of the video is being recorded like this, right? And again, if I wanted to show the score back, I just close the student's video and the score is back, right? I thought a lot about this and I wanted to provide you with the best tools because I use these tools, right? So if I put here uploads, it's going to upload now, and this button is going to become a blue dot. So the blue dots are videos that have shared screen on it, right? So I hope that actually explains most of the features. There are more things, but I don't want to make this too long. One of the other ideas here, things you can do, is like you can delete the range. If you select here and you say, I want to delete those 2 videos that I didn't like, plus all these annotations here. So you select, and they are gone like this, okay? Just by using the delete range. Be careful because once you delete, there is no way back, okay? You have to redo those videos. Besides that, you can prepare for a new lesson. So if you press prepare for a new lesson, all the yellow dots are going to be gone, but not the green dots, okay? And the writings on the score, they're going to be preserved as well. So all the actual instruction, either the yellow dots and the blue dots, are going to be deleted if you have many on the page, with a single click of the button, right? All right, so are you sure you want to remove all video annotations, yellow dots, and screen plus self from this PDF? This action cannot be undone, okay? And then look at that, the yellow dot is gone, okay? So this is an easy way of you preparing new lessons for when the students submit a video every week, all right? So it's very straightforward, very easy for you to do it. It works best on desktop computer. This is where I made for. However, I worked really hard to make it compatible also with mobile devices. So it is currently working with mobile devices, and there is all the functions work with exception of screen sharing, because mobile devices don't allow screen sharing, okay? So my recommendation is that you use a laptop or a desktop computer to use it. But you can even record from your phone if you wanted to, right? But I don't recommend that because in the desktop you can see things larger, and the student also can see things larger, and it's better, right? It's just better. I have a 30-inch monitor in front of me as I teach. I have 2 monitors also, so you want to make it as great as possible, right? So this sums up the features for the independent students membership and also the teachers memberships. The differences in teachers memberships are just regarding to storage and egress. Let me explain a little bit about what egress is, right? So storage is the amount of PDFs, videos, and things that you have on your accounts, right? It shows the PDF here, how much space is being occupied by the videos, by the PDF, and in this case I have 15 gigabytes, and the egress is the amount of data that gets transferred from my accounts. When the students watch my lessons, they are transferring data from my accounts. I have to charge for that because I get charged for this on, sorry, I have to limit this because I get charged for this on my accounts where I host my application, right? So it also prevents abuse and makes sure that the system is always readily available for everybody. Now you have an allowance of 4 times higher than what you create, so there is plenty of egress there. I just put this number there to not create like a situation where people would abuse the system, okay? And the allowance will automatically reset on the first day of each month. So you can always reset that, all right? So if you automatically do that for you. If you need more egress or more storage, you can upgrade your membership, right? That's why you have different types of memberships. And you are able to see prices in the main page. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed it. I'm very, very excited with this. I've been working very, very hard with this project, and I can't wait to see you all using it. And I'm constantly making it better, listening to your feedback. By the way, feedback is here. If you find a bug or if you find like a session that you would like to be improved, you have an idea, message me. I'm an avid reader, okay? I love to read. And but of course, be mindful, okay? Be mindful because I'm a teacher as well, just like you, and my time is limited. But I want to make this product the best in the world, right? Right now, at this moment of creating this video, there is literally nothing like that. There is really nothing like that out there for musicians, okay? So I appreciate all your support. If you can spread the words, and let's make our community grow. And I would love to help you achieve your goals as a teacher, as an independent student, and keep making progress because music is wonderful, right? All right, so all the best to you, and I'll see you soon.